Yeah. 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 What? What the hell is even that? What the... What? What? Yeah. Radical. Yeah. Radical. Yeah. Radical. Yeah. Radical. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Mic check, mic check. Yes, we are going to check the mic. We're gonna do the mic check 9 seconds till stream starts.
Yeah.
Oh no, I am a few seconds late. What am I gonna do? Oh yeah, there's Christian on the bottom when he called earlier. And we're still in technical difficulties. I don't even think I have that on here. What do we need? Intermission. There we go. Okay. I apologize in advance if I'm going to be a little grunty. I added something greasy right before I ate because I realized I was calorie deficient, and I'm caffeinating. So we'll see how much better I feel as the stream goes on. But hello everybody, Xeno here. I got a couple things to explain before we jump right into animating. I'm kind of actually peeved that I'm going to decide to animate the bikes instead of re-implementing the cart animations, because if you guys didn't know, I don't think I ever post any updates on Twitter or on Discord or anything, but I had to actually redo all of the cart animations and slightly move Link's hands down so they didn't float over the wheel. So when he drove, it actually looks like he was turning the wheel instead of guiding it magically above. So they're all ready to be exported into the file. It's just that's going to take a long process. I was trying to figure out over the past 2 days to see if Maya had a way of expediting that process. And I think there is a way, I just haven't found it yet because I'm not very well versed into Maya. And unironically, this is actually starting to make me get Maya's UI. So maybe one day I might just skip Blender entirely during the development of Project Hyrule Kart and just start animating everything in Maya in the future. Pie in the sky idea, because I still don't know how like the inverse kinematics work and stuff in Maya, but I'm trying to figure out a way to where I can just kind of drag and drop the file, hit export, and then go. The problem with that is, and this is where a little more technical stuff happens, I wish I had more of a visual, like I had the video going on, like I could explain it while showing it, but I'm not going to. It's kind of difficult right now. But basically, where was I going with that? I actually lost my train of thought. But it has something to do with Maya. Drag and drop, and you'd think it would just load the animation that was baked into that file last, because that's just how it worked when I imported it. But it has this weird issue where it cuts off frames because it thinks the FBX file is from a different animation source that was baked in the file earlier. So imagine Link does his I got first place animation, which he swings his sword and then like raises it up. That's 140 frames. But for some reason it only takes 40, because earlier during my baking process I baked him throwing something, which was like 40 frames, and it still thinks it was that. Maya cuts that off when you auto drag and drop import it, which is why when I had to click File, Import, FBX, Animation, Take, and it was like 7 different drop-down menus, which made this process very, very like cumbersome. I'm just trying to see if there's a way where I can fix that by maybe changing the file type or changing what animation gets taken, because Blender has some settings that let you take every animation that that skeleton has, or some or none, and I'm trying to see if that can force Maya to take the bigger frame animation base. So that's kind of my mind's focus right now in terms of the development process for Project Hyrule Kart. But right now, I figured that's way too boring, even more boring than animation, for me to stream that. So I'm gonna put that on the side for now and focus on that later. But in terms of other progress, I found out, and I mean this is kind of like Animation School 101, which I'm pretty sure if I took a class, they would actually teach me this, and I figured it out now, only 5-ish years into messing with Blender. But I have found a way to de-bloat file sizes for Project Hyrule Kart. Over the course of the entire development of Ingo, Malin, and Talon, which I might be able to redo theirs one day, but the issue with the .anim files was, even with that's the smallest file size we can get to have the files be taken, it still slowly bloated the file over to the part where the game would crash. I figured out how Nintendo was able to compress the BFSKA file so well. At least this is my theory on one factor on why it's compressed so well. I animate all of Project Hyrule Kart's animations in 60 frames per second. That's a big issue on why there's so much file bloat. There's so much more data for the game to interpolate frames in between each frame, because it's trying to run the game at 60 frames per second, and each frame gets a frame of data to just pull. That's not how the game industry does this. As far as I know, even way back in like 2010 when I watched development videos, and remember, it just clicked in with me one day. They mostly animate at 30 frames, and then they interpolate it to 60 using the software. Like, it'll take it magically and just do it. So while I was doing that whole import Maya thing, where I was trying to figure out how to expedite the export process, I found out that there's an animation playhead number for Maya, and it reads it at 60 FPS. So I was like, okay, let me go shrink down Link's Kart First animation, which again, 140 frames at 60 frames per second. I shrunk it down to 70, and I told Blender to export it at 30 FPS. So he played it really slow in Blender. That's not good. Now, this is by the way, I did it the hard way. I had 3 different methods before this actually worked correctly. So I'm just explaining the one that worked, because the other two they're just failures. But once I exported the 70 frames at 30 FPS to an FBX file, and then did my usual rigmarole of importing it into Maya, I changed Maya's frame rate from 30 to 60, and I exported that same exact animation of 70 frames, but Maya stretched it out to 140 like it used to be. It looks perceptually the same. This is why I think animators do this at 30 FPS, because it's just a lot less data for it to have to do, and interpolation literally is unnoticeable from that. But I re-exported it out as a .anim file, and I have over here, you guys can't see it, I have some of the failed versions on here, but I do have Kart First 30 FPS .anim and 30 FPS stretched to 60. .anim file-wise, they're the same size file, but when you put them into that tool editor that you've been seeing me use over the past few streams, it will still take that 30 FPS and stretch it to 60, and it only has 30 FPS worth of frame data to take from, which is almost half the file size, and it interpolates the rest. I saved the file, and I have a backup. This is how I know this worked. I have a backup of Link's file, which was 1,316 kilobits. Same exact Kart First swing file, 140 frames, and then I saved the interpolated version, and that one sits at 1,299 kilobits. That adds so much more wiggle room, it almost makes me wonder if that's the original intention in terms of the file size. Now, I could redo all of Link's 60 FPS stuff to 30. I don't think I will. In fact, I might still animate at 60. I will just do the 30 interpolation on really, really long animations. So, this unlocks 2 entire possibilities. One, that means it gives me more room to increase the textures, so on any characters that I feel like would need it. Let's say maybe something like Wind Waker in the future, or Twilight Princess Link with different file size textures. I can keep the quality higher because there's more wiggle room for the game to load that into memory. I can also increase the animation length, so when we do have longer dynamic animations like Kart First, Kart Bad, I think those are the big ones. Kart First, Kart Bad, Kart Good, and I think Kart Choice technically lets you go to about 90 frames before it forces the game to just push forward. But those are the ones that usually let you play the longest animations, and if I interpolate those, it'll shrink it down and give me more room to add just more, let them do more. So instead of a 4-second animation, I could probably do like a 7 or 8 second, which can help me fill out the ability to just put more character into those animations for each character, so then it fits their design and look and how were they originally intended to be in older games. So I can do just more cooler stuff for that. So that is the newest update in terms of my workflow. So it's good. I figured out a way to shrink file sizes somewhat again, which is it's nice. And I'm in the middle of trying to figure out a way to quick load my animation exports into Maya so I can re-export them to the file system that Blender likes. No, that Switch Toolbox likes. Oh, sorry, I was thinking Blender in my head because I was like, Blender still has an anim exporting tool, and I never tried to do that at 30 FPS. So that'd be more testing for me to do in the future, but we're not going to do that in the stream. So I'm going to caffeinate here just a little bit more, and we can get started on doing some bike animations. So I might be able to give you a demonstration on what I mean with the 30 FPS interpolation here in a little bit. I just wanted to really do that without having to like show the screen and paint the picture that way. So it was literally just vocal jargon, then showing it. And then I can show it later and hopefully it'll click and make more sense. But it's all now on here, because I had a devlog, I believe. I almost want to play it while I'm drinking this, because I've done that in the last stream before. We have Christian Cam still on here from last time, which is funny. Okay. He might be able to explain it better, too. I might have been like some caffeine-fueled thing here. So, I'm going to shut up. I might leave the music playing, and then we'll see if he talks really quickly. Open up the file, please. Really quickly. I was trying to figure out a way to import the animations from Maya a lot faster when it all of a sudden came to me while I was importing DAE files, because when I import them into Maya, they change the base frame rate. So let's try and do this real quick. Part first.dae3. Obviously ignore the model, it's destroyed, but it changes the frame rate to 30 frames per second. And it plays this animation twice as fast because it's only playing at 30. The base frame rate for this animation is 140, while this one is 70. But if I change the frame rate here to 60, like this one is in Blender, here is 60, it'll play at the normal speed. This begs the question, am I getting file bloat because I'm animating in 60 frames per second while most of the industry standard is 30, and then it gets interpolated to 60. This may be something I have to actually analyze, because if we find out there's a lot of redundant information in my .anim files because it's running at 60 frames instead of 30, that could be why my file sizes slowly get bigger over time. For my Mario Kart files, like these guys probably can be shrunk if they animate at 30 frames and then get interpolated to 60 through the game's engine and not just through brute force frame rate baking, if you know what I mean.
I do know.
That is a good thing to figure out, because now I want to make a version of this at 30 frames per second, do the old FBX method, and then see if the file size shrinks. It may be worth investigating. That could be the whole reason. I might have done some self-harm in terms of file bloating. All the file bloating could have been my own fault. We have to test and verify this. Do not lose this recording. Do not I like how I added that at the end, because it made it sound like it's sensitive information. It's only to me because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But I basically did this, tested it, and I proved it. So it's valid, and it's good for me to learn this now, so if I ever teach people how to mod this in the future, like more people mod it. I don't know how other people, I need to go look at actually like Wii U and Switch mods, because I remember seeing like a Zelda one. Obviously people who are already well versed in the gaming industry might already know how to change animation files, because I think they did one where Zelda replaced over Link in Breath of the Wild, and I'm pretty sure she had her own animations, so they would probably just be like, psh, I know Maya, psh, and know how to do this, and I'm doing this stupid workaround, which slows down the process. But as far as I know, I'm one of the few people who actually change animations for Switch mods, and Wii U mods to a lesser degree. Because in Mario Kart, most of the time they just do model swaps, and then they just take the skeleton and match it to the same animations, which can look good for most characters, but then you end up having like Sonic doing Mario's tricks, and to me, I don't like that. So this takes it one step bigger to making it almost feel like a completely unique game, and that's why I'm doing this. So, other than the fact I'm not as good as animating, and you can see that in my products, I think it's cooler and better, and in a way now I'm teaching how to do this without having everybody else to relearn it and have the game crash and waste so much time. So, yay! I got a little bit more caffeine in me. It's starting to kick in, and we can actually start figuring out what to do for Link on a bike. And I apparently saved it when he was already on a bike. I think I was having issues with the sword popping out. So I just did that. There we go. Fixed. Ah. Now we get to do the glorious thing, and I think I might have actually done it earlier last week, because I didn't stream last week, but I still worked on the project. I mostly didn't stream because of the 4th of July and other stuff. I figured most people would be busy, and I would be somewhat busy, but I need to now align his hands on the handlebars, which is more trickier than the cart, because there usually is one programmed hand to stay where the handlebar skeleton is in the game. So I have to make sure and pay attention to both hands to see which one's higher than the other, and then adjust it accordingly. It's going to take a few exports, and we're going to have to do this here live on stream, but it's just something we need to account for. So shrink that back to 0 because we actually didn't need it. I just wanted to make sure that the model was there. We don't have anything else. His knees need to go out a little bit more. They're kind of hugging the bike a little tight. That's because the knees are all the way up here. So now we just need to mirror them. There we go. Move the hands down. In fact, we need to get rid of the rotation, because this one looks off. Bring it down. And see, I have 2 reference points, because there was a time earlier when I was messing with the Inkling Boy's animations, and I don't remember how I even got it to load in properly, but I got his old base skeleton to load one of the bike animations and figure out where his feet were placed, so I could try and just put reference blocks there, and I don't think that worked. So these are still here and just left over from that, but we can see if those are valid. So we need to... Oh, their hands are probably off because the elbow bones are not the same. Okay. And here, expect to hear that word a lot. So now we got to twist the arms a little bit, and we're going to put them on the pink one. While we listen to Super Monkey Ball. Get it adjusted right there, so now he has his hands on the handlebars. He's looking like he's actually ready to race. His boots look a little funky though. I don't know why. They look like they're trying to bend in a way they're not supposed to. At least to me. Because it's like sliding to the right. It could be the knees doing something. Kind of. So if we just rotate the boots the right way, it'll look better. Okay, and now, as far as I remember, this is only... No, it is 40 frames. So this is one we're not going to interpolate. Or in the future, I could just set these to 30 and not mess with it. It's just, my brain has to remember it's being doubled. All the frame rate counters are going to have to be cut in half, which sucks. Because now 40 is 20, and that means at 10 frames, I have to do his little animation. So, Oh yeah, I'll just cut it to 20. We'll just start experimenting. What can go wrong? And then we just take this, throw it over here. It's so much more choppy. I think that's the reason why I hated it. I'm like, it doesn't feel like it's in the game. And I feel like he's wiggling his spine too much. So what's the original spot? Up. Maybe his root bone will help move everything. There we go. And his head needs a little bit more rotation to accommodate for that. His hands are moving with the handlebars, which looks loose and unprofessional, but I can't remember how to fix that specifically usually. It moves down, so we need to move it up a little bit. Up, down, up. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So this might be ready for exporting. So we've made... Oh, I need to pull up my chart. This is how unprepared I am. My Google Docs chart. So this is the big old thing that helps me keep everything organized. These are not loaded in game, as you can tell, and I have a couple lost files in my file base here, and some that are redundant and not needed, but these don't need to be done yet because I was in the middle of starting this and now we're redoing it. So using as a base to put on hands of bikes, it was loaded in game. We need to call this one in bike weight 2 because there's two idle animations. The first one is where they're trying to balance on the bike and prevent it from falling in game, and then there's the one they use when you're selecting your character basically. And bike weight 2 is the one that we're trying to do that from. So we'll put the green check mark there, and then we can export it to FBX. And I actually need to make sure really quickly, hold on, that something works properly. And apparently I didn't double click it. Uno momento. I'm sweating. It's really warm in this office today. These lights are not helping. I think it's 87 outside, and the air conditioner is on the other side of the apartment, so I don't get the coolest air off the bat. And with all this going on in the computer room, I end up struggling to just get the temperature lower here. I don't even have a fan from the living room blowing into the office, so the door's open. But yeah, okay. It looks like that didn't crash. You know what I mean? So, now we need to get back to this animation. Go over to here. It's 20 frames, baked at 30 FPS. Boom. Nothing to bake. Oh, my bad. I didn't select the skeleton. Bake. We call this mbike weight 2 baked. We save it. Then we take the reference model as just something for the skeleton to kind of take. And then we do FBX, link exports, mbike. We'll call this mbike weight 2. Weight 2. I forgot. The file itself is called mbike, so we can just do weight 2. I will call it test because I have a feeling we're going to be off in the game off the bat. This is going to take a few iterations, maybe up to 3 or 4 tries. Selected objects. We want to make sure the leaf bones are not on. Animation takes. Hit boom, vehicle hit.
Yeah.
Go into Maya. Import. We go to my exports. We do mbike weight 2 test. Make sure it takes the one we want. Okay. So now he does his thing. And then we stretch it to 60 FPS here. And it gets interpolated to 60. See, I tried importing it as one of my failed takes from earlier. I tried doing the 30, exporting as 30 in Maya, and then importing it into the Switch toolbox, and then forcing it to double the frame rate. It just cuts off at the normal frame rate and freezes. So it doesn't work like that. So you have to reinterpolate it here at 60. It's really stupid. And it means it adds one extra step to my workflow here. But now we have to export selection, anim export. Go back to here. I might just have to go mbike, anim version, mbike, no. mbike wait to test. Okay. I have two desktops open. Why? We need... do I have tabs open? Does this bring me back to where I want to go? Yes! Cool, this is where we need it. So, I'm gonna make... No, I don't need to make a backup yet. But let's go back to here. We have a link. I have my Xbox controller on so I can get ready to run Ryujinx and test this out. Get rid of the squid model because we're not messing with that yet. We need mbike wait 2. So this is one that was already from the game earlier, but we need to replace it. So mbike wait 2, replace. We're in cart anims. We want mbike anim version, mbike wait 2 test, and then we reload it. He's doing something else. Looks good. We just need to tell it to loop over here. It's set at 40 frames per second. I have here on my right screen the file size. I'm going to save it now, compress it. And it went down 2 kilobits because the original one that I was testing earlier was the 60 non-interpolated. I'm already saving space. The more you know.
Yeah.
And now we're ready to test and see if he actually aligns his handlebars. I wish we had a way to do this live. It's going to irk me to this very day that we can't do that. But what are you going to do? Mario Kart! Hey!
Mario Kart! Hey!
I should just make a modded sound for me saying that instead of Mario. Okay. So now we have our link. See, look, his hands are actually on the handlebars now because I fixed it. That's the test version. All his other animations slide him up. So now we gotta go to mbike. That's a mock bike. That's one of these ones. So his hands are slightly forward. I can tell. So we go back to here, and you see from these handlebars, he's slightly forward. Kind of wish he wasn't spinning. How do we get him to stop? Here. There. So he's slightly forward on his left hand. Right here is slitting forward really, really bad. So if we were to hide this, well, no, not hide. We're going to move the bike now. So where's the whole bike armature? It used to have... Oh, there's the skeleton. Okay, so I'm going to move the skeleton. Oh, no. Yeah, it's moving everything we need to move. So if we... Well, hold on. Let me move it out of the way. I would almost argue that handlebar thing I might be right about. It might be in those spots. But, we just slide it back just a smidge. And I don't know if we're supposed to move it up at all. I'm going to set the Y to 0. No, the Z to 0. Because this one isn't rotated. I have a feeling this is where the handlebars are supposed to go. So, this reference handle, mbike handlebar L, is where it's supposed to be. So, he looks cool here, but we gotta do it again. Which usually involves me just shifting this back a little bit. Shifting these guys. Well, I can just do it all in one go, so. Which means, oh, I never checked and see if his feet were positioned properly. Let's, Alt F10, so I should still have link footage.
Mario Kart 8.
No, that's pretty much on the spot. Well, no. I have a feeling the middle of his soul is supposed to be on the handlebar there. So... Did I move those yet? No. Where's the reference bike for the... Oh wait, no, this is already moved. So he has new... That's why he's off now. He just needs that to go, like, right there. And then maybe... No? His legs can stay down like that. So, we'll take this and his hand bones and shift him back a little bit. And then I might hide these ones. I have a feeling they're... I don't want to say redundant, but they're close to. Go back to taking this. And then moving them up accordingly. And now what we need to do is take all that, put it here, and then go to the middle frame, because I think we rotate the... We need to go to SKL root and type in Y low. Because the Y location needs to be copied from this frame, which it looks like it was. No, he's still moving. Which axis is that? Oh yeah, it's not up and down, it's forward and back. The cart animation. So it's the X location. So let's just undo that and go look at X location. Or Z location? Yes, the Z location. So we'll take this, duplicate it, and put it over there. So now he rotates in the new location on all the frames. It looks like how he's supposed to, I believe. So I'm saving that. And then we got to rebake it. So we take this, 20 frames it, baked. We'll call it mbike weight 2 baked v2. Because we still have the other file on there. I could get rid of it, but I'm not going to right now. Because it does increase the file size of Blender and the FBX exports. But we'll deal with that later. Wait to test 2. See, the nice thing about doing this all at the same time is that Blender remembers what settings you're exporting to and where. And helps you kind of get things done faster. So every time I have to restart that, it does slow things down for a moment. But now we get to import it into here. Wait to test 2. Make sure we're looking at baked v2. It's the 20 frames in the new spot. Stretch her out to 60. Click the skeleton. Export selection. We'll do wait to test 2.anim. Go into here. Bike weight 2. I'm going to make sure that this video file is now closed because it's covering data. Wait 2. Replace wait 2 test 2. Boom, boom. It's 40 frames. Tell it to loop. Save. File sizes are the same. Should be. It's the same frames, basically. Open up Ryujinx and test it out again. Ryujinx likes to open up on that window for some reason. I don't know.
Mario Kart 8.
Oh, that's my intermission screen. That's what I want. Okay. Oops. We're changing history. Mock bike. His left hand looks right, but his right hand doesn't look right. And it's hard to tell, obviously, with this. And if we go into game, he'll start using his driving animations. So... No, I think it still looks good. Maybe it's just weird angles. I don't want to say that to be lazy, but I think that's good. Yeah, his right hand kind of looks like it's... Like, here his left hand, and it's proper. His right hand looks tilted. I need to see maybe if I accidentally did that in here. Because it's... I told the inverse kinematic animations. Oh, there's the handlebar hiding. It just feels off. Does this have rotational data? It does. Yes. But is it mirrored? Interesting. Maybe it's reacting differently because these are in the wrong different spots? You want to ride your bike like this or more relaxed? For being mirrored, it looks so off. Maybe it's just a perspective thing. Let me look at his skeleton really quick. I'm probably making a fuss over nothing, but... That's probably why it looks off. I'm gaslighting myself. You can tell up there. Look at my mouse cursor. He has a knuckle sticking out on his left hand. I used the wrong hand when I imported and was editing the model. Over on his right hand, he doesn't have that knuckle, and that's what's probably making it look off. So there's that knuckle data right there. If I unsmooth it, you can tell there's a psh, psh. There's a definitive hand finger there. On this one, it's just a big square or block or whatever you want to call it. That's probably why it looks off. So I think it's actually correct. It just looks off because it's technically not the same hand. I'm going to run with it and call that one good to go. I'm going to put that in my notes. And we can get to animating. Because now the bike is in the proper spot. And everything should align accordingly. I'm going to move my controller. Put this... I was supposed to put the .fbx here, but it doesn't matter right now. And then we do the checkbox, because it's loaded in game. Using as a base to put hands on feet and bike. That is true. And then I'm going to put a comment here. Position found... I spelled position wrong. And FS... Position found good to go on and animating the rest. Position found good to go on animating the rest. That's just a good way to put comments on Google Docs, just to let you know what day and what time that happened. Because there have been a couple things on over here, if you guys want to learn really quickly. Over here. So Cart Jumpy was the animation where Inkling Boy would turn into a squid for a few frames as he does the trick and comes back. So I just put in a date when I figured out it all worked. I never did progress updates on that, so it's a bad example. I did do one with the jump slash, though. So Link used to have it where he, like, accidentally bent the sword down. It was like a export error. And instead of swiping the sword when he does his jump slash, he held it down like he was trying to stab someone with it. So I fixed it, but I lost the frame data for Blender. So the only way for me to truly fix it would be to take the FBX file and somehow mesh it back into the original file. I don't know if it'll be worth it, but it's lost. I'd have to reanimate it. Who knows? I could reanimate it. Maybe I could reanimate it better, but yeah. These should all say anim now, by the way. Is there a way I can just replace? Insert row. Here, let me just select all these. Few more actions. Insert emoji reaction. You can react?
Bruh.
Save to keep. I guess not. I'm going to do it the slow way. So just copy and paste it. Sorry, this is more of a personal thing. So I'm just going to get rid of all these. I'll even reinsert the X's later. We need X out here. And we need X out here because these, well, no, this is .fbx. There we go. Frame data lost, but fbx baked file exists. That is now an accurate document. So now we need to go to here. It's on Anim, it's loaded in game. These aren't loaded in game yet, except for the cart weight. And see, we get to do this whole alignment thing one more time for the S-bike animations. And I always thought S-bike meant speed bike, but apparently M-bike means mock bike, and those are the faster, less drifty bikes. Which is annoying. Sorry, my brain's just fried for a second. And I just got a phone message. Oh, okay. If the audio messed up there for you guys, I don't know if it does. It does for me. I have a weird feeling either my cable or my headset is dying. Like the cable port for it is dying because voice meter has it where when audio bugs out, it just turns into static garble. My friends definitely know that in Discord when it happens, but it's been happening more often. And I'm wondering if it's just like Windows being on for so long and I might just need to do a restart. Certain programs might be triggering it because it can do that. Or it's because the cable gets loose and corrupts the audio, basically. So I hope that doesn't become an issue. I might have to just go wireless sometimes now. I just hate wireless because my microphone quality dips, and I wonder if I can find a way to maybe mush it out. But we'll figure that out in due time. I'm just trying to mentally prepare for actual animating, and I'm dreading it. Oh. Okay. That's okay. Oh, yay! Yay! You know what? We are playing. It's not for fun. It's for research. Unfortunately, we're going to have to play Link with messed up animations from the Inkling Boy to figure out which hands more than likely stick to the handlebars. So we're going to do that. I just realized I'm not technically holding off on what we're doing here to get... I guess we'll just do time trials. You know what? You know what? You know what? I'm feeling blue. Okay. And now we need to go to mock bike. Because these are M bikes, and that's why he has the other set of animations. But, where's a mock bike? That's a mock bike. You can usually tell by the icon down here when it changes. So I usually just like using this one because I think it's the base file. And now we get to do a race. I need technically all 3 jumps. The one thing we're doing time trials that, like, we're doing time trials and that means we're missing some potential animations. So I'm gonna have to figure out. Oh my gosh, his hat like smushes him really badly. But I need to get my cart first animations, cart good and cart bad. See, I'm seeing his left hand stay on there when he does a trick, and I may have to accommodate for that. Some of this is like baked into the game, and it's hard for me to edit, if at all. His jump. The only jump that seems to matter is cart jump A, which is this. Well, that's cart jump B. That one. So, I need to go back and play normal races to check and see if cart first, cart good, and cart bad have anything that hold his hand on there. So I'm going to have to get in first place, get in second place, then get in like 7th. To see them in game. Because the Switch toolkit will not let me know. Well, it will. In fact, you know what? You know what? It might be worth knowing. Yeah, I am stupid. Don't listen to me. We can just go into here and look. So we'll do cart and bike first. He's holding his gun while doing that, so both of his hands come off of it. And bike bad. Both of his hands come off of it, and then M bike good. His left hand's on there, and that might magnet to it. So I might have to put these in my notes. So it looks like M bike good. Oh look, I even had it on the data here, and the music's off. M bike good. Need to check in if one of the arms is locked to the bike or not. See, I even had them on the document. I'll do update. Hand is on left hand. Left hand is, no, looks like it is locked to the handlebars. Bards. So that's good. I'll just delete that since I'm checking it. This seems to be good. Seems to be good to have both hands free. And then I'll just copy that. Now, unfortunately, there's still a part of me that doesn't trust it. And sometimes they might have an animation that loads like that in the preview thing. But in game, it's different. The only animation I'll assume this from is cart first because we don't have the time. Well, we do have the time. But I can just assume if they're locked on there. Because look, his left hand's on there. It'd be holding... Well, I say it'd be holding the gun. The gun's on the right hand in game. I switched the bones. But the game's still on and we can still win. Let's do that. Meow. The squid animation looks so stupid. Hey, Zelda's in here. No! See, one thing I may have to do in the future, especially with slightly higher detailed models, I'm just really lucky that a lot of the Ocarina of Time 3DS files are low poly enough to not need LODs, but I might have to incorporate that into other models. Because technically all of the Mario Kart characters have LODs. I don't have any in my mods, which could be the reason why maybe some people who've been testing my mods have issues playing like split screen and stuff. I've never really tested split screen. Maybe something worth looking into in the future. Okay, so his hands don't lock. Good to know. Good to know. Music. And then I'm pretty sure these are going to be the same for S-Bike. They're probably just adapted. Yeah. Yeah, those are the same as... He's like really adjusted upward in the other one. That's funny to know. Okay. So now we need this one to be copied over to S-Bike in the future. And then the rest seem to be okay. So, boom, and then boom. And then, yeah, I put stand versions there. Oh, my brain. Having to, like, talk and do the deaf thing, honestly, does kind of suck. But I'm doing it because I'm streaming. Because I'd just be literally just be staring at it and doing it. I need to know if it's worth maybe trying to do something else in today's stream and just make my thumbnail a big fat liar. My brain's trying to slow me down. Okay. Now, let's do M-Bike. Copy this. M-Bike, weight 1. And get rid of this. And I have to remember how many frames. I believe it's 80. And bike weight 1. It's 90. He's balancing. So 90 would be 45 on here. So we want this to go loop at 45 frames. And he has to balance now. So 22 would be the middle, right? 22.3. So what's 11? Let's do 11. I have to figure out which way he's leaning on this one. He goes to right, left. Yeah. He goes right, left, right, left. He does 2 before it loops. We want this one to go to the right. Goes. I don't know if he's gonna do that and then loop around to it. Like that. And then 44, 45. No. I don't think that works. And he's doing straight down. Yeah. So let's get rid of that. And then just do that. So I think that needs to be frame 11. Because then at frame 22, it needs to go up, back to the middle. So he goes... It just needs to circle around. And then we need to get rid of... No, this needs to dip down over here. And somewhere in the middle, up. And then this is the first frame data, which makes it loop. So that's a bad first version of it. And he's sinking into... Yeah, he needs to stand up more first. That's probably the first thing. So we're just trying to base it off his cart weight animation. So... we should probably rotate him more into... his arms, he doesn't have a lot of arm length to do this with. Oh, shift. Something kind of like that. Okay, so now just do 22 is the halfway mark. So it goes like an infinite 8. Just need you to move to the right. Let me get you back to the middle. 22. Then 33. Move you a little bit to the right. And then reset. And then, I don't know, frame 6, we have it dip down. So you go down, up. And then Frame 17, down, down, up, down, up, and then down. Now he's like multi-hopping. How did I do this before? So now you know it's been a long time. Maybe we don't need the second one there. Then down, up, there. I think that's how it goes. Up, and then maybe upper? Is that how it works? Yeah. Doesn't look like it loops the best, but it's a start. It actually looks like he's trying to balance. So maybe at frame 11 we try and make it look like he's lifting up with his body. No, now it looks like he's humping. And there's so much hand movement there. I need to learn about this inverse kinematic thing again. A long time ago, I did it with Ingo somehow and fucked it up with his legs. We might open the we might need to go find the file and research how I did this properly. It has something to do with copying the transforms of the hands inverse kinematic bone instead of the hands just loosely flip around. I did it with Ingo's legs, like his feet. So I need to go find that file. I'm just all of a sudden really amped to know. So let's go to my my USB drive. Project Hyrule Kart, Pack 1, edited Ingo. Let's go to this one. Ingo 2 skeletons, 32423, 50 megabytes. Holy schmoly. I'm itching my leg. I apologize. Oh no, this is, I think, cart animations. I had the bike animations separate. It's trying to run at 30 FPS. I had a saved disappointed Ingo. Now right now his inverse kinematic arms are disabled, which is why this animation probably wasn't working right. I like how he's just not textured properly. Honestly, that was way too slow. Do 1.4. No. 0.75. Yeah, it looks a lot better. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We're not looking for that. Yeah, these should be all cart animations. And bike one weight one real. That's a baked one. And bike weight fixed. Cart jump 30 FPS. Yeah, this is not the Ingo file. Trailer intro, 2 skeletons rendered for bike. Whoa! I like how I took the one frame there for... I made an image off of this. I rendered this, but I had old data that I made him go... Let's do weight. Cart weight and bike weight 1 real. This is all baked data.
Bruh.
Why? Where is it then? Oh, am I on the wrong skeleton? No, this is the inverse kinematic one. So he's a more dynamic. We should be. Yeah. Okay. So why are all the animations in that one broken? Cart drive deform. Cart drive for real. Drift L, armature action, F bike weight, deform. Okay, we need to find another version of this. Rendered for bike, bike anims. This is probably it. Oh, yeah. So now let's go to M-bike. M-bike first, M-bike choice, M-bike dash. What's deform? I called it deform, not baked. Weight stand deform. It's 90 frames. Oh, I forgot, I even put the effort. Why is it still at 80? I said 90. Oh, because my numpad's turned off. I like how I even put the fake eyebrow physics and mustache physics for that. Well, yeah. So it looks like you were to have all these frames to make it 30. I had a lot of corrective. Oh, maybe I didn't have the inverse kinematic stuff. At least not on this file. Bike anims without IK. What? Test. Opening that Blender file apparently made my entire computer like hard freeze. And as soon as I was able to go to the task manager when it let me, it finally gave me control back of everything. So my webcam basically crashed. OBS completely stopped wanting to work. That was insane. Well, we're back and fixed, so I'm going to try and open that again. Sometimes Blender just opening... Am I glitched or are we still connected? I think we're still connected. Yes. Apparently having 3 instances of Blender open, my computer doesn't like that. So... this doesn't have it either. All this progress isn't working. Close this since it doesn't like that. I'm going to save this just in case we need to close more instances of Blender. I'm going to get rid of Photoshop. It's just my thumbnail. I'm not making art yet. Like anims with constraints. Ingo without IK. Ingo 2 skeletons. With what? It's a damage. Damage and bad animations to export separately. Because I had these turned off. Yeah, I guess I lied. These versions of Ingo maybe never worked. Played it slow and then I doubled it. Yeah. Well, that was a lot of crashing and issues for nothing. Self-bone test. These are really old files. Oh, this is what I was talking about. So when I rotate this, it rotates him. And this doesn't move at all. So as when I move these, it stays still, and then when I rotate it, it's... does it like that. Let me see what constraints those are. It's just called copy rotation in local space, not owner orientation. I think that's what fucks with it. It's literally just copy rotation. I wonder why it didn't work out so well when I was messing with Link then. Because as far as I know, that means these guys don't... They stay still. I'm going to save it and just mess with it. So give me a moment. Back to the first frame. Copy rotation. We hit IK armature. We'll do IK hand.l. And then we'll do local space. Local space. So now when I move this and I rotate this, it moves his hand. Which may work better. No. I just need to figure out a way to mount his hands to the handlebars better than all that moot for nothing. I'm gonna go, hold on. Technical difficulties. No, it's still the same. The same live stream? Did I lose a whole bunch of stream time? I was trying to figure out how long I was streaming for, but since OBS crashed and had to reconnect, I might be screwed. Let me see if it just shows an older one or not. I'm gonna see my YouTube studio and see if stuff... I have like unpublished live videos or something now. No. No. It's... I wonder if it'll compile all together then into one. They'll like stitch it together when I'm done streaming. So if I started at 3:45, I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. So I need about 40 more minutes of live streaming. That's all what I wanted to know. Because my goal is minimum 2 hours. 2 hours. And then I can do stuff offline and make more progress or play more games. I still need to think about linking my Twitch stream back to here. Because I played video games on Twitch all day. It wouldn't be like... I wouldn't commentate as well, but I would do it just for stream time. I don't want to multi-stream though. I just need to figure out how to switch back and forth for that, but I can't do that while I'm live, so there's no use worrying about that. Kind of gnarly to see the old iterations of my skeletons I thought I could just easily replace. Alright, good times. So we're on the wiggle one. So what I need to do is just kind of figure out how to stop that from happening. I guess it's a lot less noticeable than how it used to be. Oh, did it mirror things too? I think so. So no, it still looks like he's doing this with his hands too, basically. Okay. Get rid of all those frames. Does it do it for this one too? No, it does not. I could just let him float around like that. It just looks not good at all. Maybe rock his head back a bit. Oh, hey, T. Oh, yeah, that might need to help him move it around. Because when I was messing with Ingo's stuff, I had it where his like mustache and his eyebrows gravitied. I'm just trying right now to fix it so his hands don't do this on the handlebars while he's moving. Because that's a byproduct of the inverse kinematics. To make him magically bend his elbows and stuff. It just bothers me to see it. I let Ingo do that in the game because I didn't give a crap at that point. I was just happy it was working. So I'm just being nitpicking, seeing if I found a workaround for it. I'm happy you're stopping by and chatting because you're helping me figure out the low latency mode for YouTube, where it's almost as real time as Twitch is. Because it used to be like 30 seconds behind. Now I'm only like 3 seconds behind, which is cool. Yeah. See, I need to know if there's a way where I can tell the bone to anchor to a spot on the bike, because then it might help expedite that workload later. But I'm just doing it the slow and hard way, so. But yeah, it's been a long time. You should have seen the entire process. I don't know if you've been actually like there's a way to constrain it to something. I know there's a way to do it because there's the video game engines, like Brawl. Games like 2042 had it where like they automatically mounted like the right hand on the gun, and they put a bone there, so it just tells that bone to attach to the other one. So I just need to, when I'm baking the frames here, I just need to tell it to copy like one of these and just attach over to it, so it doesn't move at all. I just don't know how to do that, so I just need to see if there's a setting. Or else he'll just start moving. Because I was looking at old Ingo files earlier, and apparently opening Blender up multiple times completely froze my computer, which like reset the stream. It was terrible. So I am like, well, I'm enough researching on old shit that didn't work. I'm just gonna go start editing it. But I don't know if you've been watching any of the older streams, but if you've been seeing the process it took for me to get Link to work properly over the Inkling Boy has been quite the undertaking, because he technically has a squid model he switches to, and I just replaced the squid model with another Link, so now there's two Links, and he does a trick just for the squid model with less bones. It was such a pain in the ass with trial and error. Why isn't the HUD working? I guess I can close this now. I'll just reopen it later. But yeah, stupid workarounds. Because I just remember back then, you always heard me talking about like file bloat and file size limits and all that. And I've been figuring out ways to optimizing it. And earlier in the stream, which we can't view now because YouTube considers this a brand new stream. You can't go back to it yet. I figured out how to even shrink it more. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I figured this was more entertaining to watch, more or less entertaining to watch than me messing with Maya. So I decided to do bike animations today. But I need to actually get rid of these again. I'll just see if that looks okay. Because I can technically call this good and then just put in my notes to work on the hands later. So I might do that real quick. Just so I can keep going. So let's see. We call this one stand version. I need to put in highlighter, hands, rotate with body. That makes it look a little funny. May mess with that later. So I will call this one good. Oh wait, we do need to do the... So let's see. If we can have it where his head goes down just a little bit. And then up on frame 15. So it's like up. Oh, it's too much up. Yeah, that adds a lot more wiggle. I'm happy you suggested that, because I totally would have forgotten that, and he would have looked way stiffer. So, we need him to go back down again. I guess I can just copy this, and then put this up at frame whatever here, and then bring him back to the beginning. Looks like the timing's off a little bit on his head, but I see where this can work. Maybe it's just the timing. I'll bring that. And then I guess that's all what I need, in a way. What frame is that? 7? So 22 to 32? Maybe if we bend the spine a little bit too. So what was that, frame 7? Slight spine bend, bring it back 22, and then plus 7, so it'd be 29. No? Is it plus 7? 0 plus 7. 22, 33, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that doesn't feel right. But then we put it back. Oh no! His hand rotation over here copied frames, and he was popping back into place. So he shifts back into his center animation. I think I remember starting at a different spot with Ingo that made it look like it looped better. So he doesn't freeze for a frame, basically. I wonder if I can do that. Because he goes down and to the left, so we can just kind of start him already doing that. Oh, he just pops. Okay. I don't like that. Frame 45 and frame 0 are the same. So then if we just... like that. No. He's like twitching back into place. Well, that's what... Yeah, I don't know why I thought editing the last frame would work. That makes no sense. We just need to take whatever is this frame and move it over. So we'll take all of them and just slide it back. There we go, that looks better. Dev tricks. I like how I realized whatever I was demonstrating, I was blocking. Frames over here. So, that's the first iteration. We may iterate on that later. Now I just need a little green check mark. And then we can start doing... We'll do... drive. M-bike drive. I don't know why I have that note there. I never got that far. Now, we have to go back to M-bike wait. Wait 2. Frame 10. I'm thinking like how Homer does beer. Bike.
What?
Then we just need this frame reference. Hit boom. And bike. Drive. Yes. A little thingamabobber. And now it's only 15 frames. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of the first one and then move you over. There we go. And now... I don't like this all of a sudden. Oh, no, this goes in the middle. Yeah. Which is 7, unfortunately. I can do interpolated frames in the middle of here, but I think I need a newer version of Blender for that. So I'll just do 7. And then frame 0. If I remember correctly, frame 0 is turning right? I don't remember, so let's go look. Animations. Well, first we have to always get rid of the other Link model. Skeletal animations, M-bike, drive. So he starts turning right and then he turns left. Yeah, right to left. So, which way is right on here? So that means if he's turning right on the bike, he needs that. And then this needs to go up. Where are they? Okay. He's not animating. What the fuck? Uh-oh. I might have only taken... Yes. So we need to hit this, and all of the bones have their frame data now. Oh my gosh. Then we go back to here. So, down a little bit. Up a little bit. And then we need to rotate his spine later, but I'm just doing the hands. Oh no, they're mirroring. Stupid mirror button. Down. Up. 1. Down. Up. 2. You might need to have more lean in there, like that. So then he goes, and then shimmies over to the opposite side, which should be like this. Now his hands go left and right. My foot's itching. Ow! Ow!
Oh, the camera's on.
And now we need for him to lean. So now we'll go to frame 0. Get rid of the stupid distort. Make his scale root. Rotate him a little bit. Make his head turn. And lean up a little bit. And then maybe... Let's see, we rotated it, but we can lean it too. It's going to move his hand, which is going to cause issues, but that's fine. We want this. And it goes... And then rotates, leans, and then tilts his head that way, and it's slightly up. There we go. And the other thing we need is the knees. So he needs to bring his knee out a little bit as he turns. With whatever I can do, because apparently he's really squished here. And then this boy needs to go outwards. And squish. So go squish, undo. Maybe I'm over complicating it, but... No. No. I mean, I know you do that when you're on those, like, race bikes, but he's not drifting yet. And those don't need to be in the frames. And I think SKL does enough to move his legs as necessary. But we just need more lean. We need more lean. So like that. Swoosh. Slulse. We'll just slulse right in. He's dancing now. It almost makes me remember the Ganondorf talking. And this one gets a smiley face. And then he smiles. I can only hope that this works. We may have to do an export test just to make sure his hands are in the right positions. Because I think one thing I lost my train of thought. Thanks message that I got. Here, I wonder if I can actually do this with his current skeleton. I'm going to save just in case we fuck everything up. But we'll do M-Bike Drive. Wherever the heck it is. Export. .maya animation. M-Bike Drive.anim. I think Blender might let me import that. The problem is it's with this skeleton, which is the jarbled up one, and it already has all these constraints. Fuck. Maybe I can't do it then. Never mind. Disregard that. Why does his hand go up? More replies. Starting to get messages. Probably just the way it rotates as he turns. That could be why. I wonder if I should rotate his hand up. That might make it look a little bit better. I might have to export this specific version and see if it aligns with the bike as it turns. So, why the heck not? Animation, bake actions, 15 frames. We'll call this M-Bike Drive Baked. Save, select the link model, select that model, hit File, Export, FBX. We will do Drive V1. It remembers all my settings. Hit Export. Open up Mire. New scene. Don't save. File, import. Drive V1. Make sure we click Drive Baked. Tell this to go interpolate to 60 frames per second. And then he goes that looks good on here. Inkling Boy, File, Export Selection. And we'll do Drive V1. Then we get to go in here and replace it. M-Bike Drive. M-Bike. Anim version. Drive V1. Baked. I know, I wish I had the Christian baked face that he has on his Discord profile. We had it changed a while ago, and instead of having his old one with the booze, he's like, I jokingly told him, hey, I'll do the baked face. He's like, okay, but put a thing of weed to make it look like it. Christian baked. I think I still have his yeah, there we go. Over in the top right. We were playing earlier. I think we were playing. Were we playing? I was recording a game earlier and I had the Christian cam. But okay. Now we're on the new file. That one doesn't need looping buttons. I got to turn my controller on. Hit save. I should have checked and seen if the file size bloated. I didn't get to look though. Okay, so M-Bike Drive. So now he does that. Load her up.
Nice.
It opens in the wrong window every time. I'm gonna have to restart Windows just to frickin' fix that. Oh.
What the fucking fuck?
Mario Kart 8!
Yeah.
Time to start things up. Okay, he's on a bike. You can pick the colors. I'm gonna be Red Link. Red Link! I think we'll pick the same bike. Wait, am I doing... Yeah, that's versus. We need time trials. The hat. Okay. We'll pick Oreo Stadium.
What?
So he's using... There we go. We have to drive for him to actively look like that. It looks like it's 1-to-1. It looks good. Just when he transitions back to balancing. Yeah. It looks like we got the movements for his hands easily on there. Cool. So yeah, when he turns into the squid, since these ones don't have the animation, he just turns into weird standing feet. But when he's in the cart, he actually plays the proper trick. I'm going to show that off real quick. Because most of the cart animations are basically done. They just need to be re-imported because they're slightly... Like, his hands are slightly above the wheel. I want to do this for funsies. There we go. He plays the ocarina. Jump slash ocarina. Jump slash ocarina. He does a backflip for the the third jump. Yeah, he works. He works!
Yeah.
Okay, so now we just need to import that balance animation to make it look better when we test stuff in the future, but he works there. So we'll just keep that minimized. That works really well for a first try. I just need to now check mark it. Check mark. We taught animed it and in game. In game it looks good. Check mark. I can't remember if you've ever seen any certain stuff, T, but did you see that Twilight Princess has a decompile PC port now? That's cool. And fucking around with the flute.
Yeah.
Game. Okay. Now we can do... I guess we'll do M-Bike Hop next, just because it's basically the same animation with him slightly more in the air. So I gotta shift his butt upwards. Yeah. Because like just playing Twilight Princess at 60 FPS is like... I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen it. I'm like, I want to do it. Might be able to just... Yeah, until multiplayer. I know technically you can compile it for like your phone and stuff, and I might do that one day. And just play it through that. Okay, there we go. And shift his head. We'll do 10 degrees. And then this one, 10 degrees. And then this one, 10 degrees. Oh no. Uh-oh. Where is what axis is that? Not that one. It is Y, I believe. Where's Y location? Y location, take the frames, put it over there, put it over there. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, he doesn't... Wait. Did I rotate the spines? No. So then... What rotation is this then? Not that. Not that. X. Do we have X rotation? X rotation. Copy, paste. X rotation. There we go. So now his... I wonder if we can get him to stand higher, though. Yeah, Dade's messed with it? That's cool. I knew he would, obviously. You know why.
Yeah.
No.
But... I saw that. I think I saw Donkey Kong 64 just get released, so they're going crazy. Like, a whole bunch of different teams are doing a whole bunch of different games. But, okay, let me see. Let me see if I can get... By the way, you can see over here Link's butt. The fact that his tunic does that whole, like, slouch thing so it doesn't just turn into jarbled model. It used to look all jarbly. It took me, like, a week and a half to figure out how to not make it do that. So now it's working as intended, even though his butt goes flat. It just doesn't look, like, destroyed. Oh, man. Yeah, I can't get his... I think that's good enough. Compared to the normal one, he's significantly lower. So it looks like he's trying to stay with it. I think that works. And he's just more bent. Okay. Because if you're viewing him at about that angle, it would look fine. So now we'll just take this, bike hop, done. Let's do... Oh, shit! What does his back animation look like? So he holds on to it with his left... His right arm. His right arm's locked to it. Okay, that's good to know. We may have to do that one next. We'll do... Oops. Let's go back to M-Bike Drive. Then M-Bike... Back. Hit the little shield. And now we can fuck with it. Don't fuck it up!
Don't fuck it up. What?
I just don't know how I'm going to do this. Because his now his left arm can do whatever the fuck. So we don't need data for that. We can lead him up. And then... lead him up a little bit anyway. We need to rotate his spine. So he's trying to look backwards. So we just need to move his other hand here to make it look like it's trying to... Looks like he's trying to... I don't... It just looks funny. Really close to where I want it to be, but his freaking elbow. There we go. So now we just want the data for mostly his... Everything except his hand bones can go away. There we go. 15. We just need to bend his spine a little bit. That is loud. Oh yeah, when he just puts his hand on his hip. You press A and you talk to Darunia. Dude, whenever I get around to doing Darunia, I'm gonna have a blast animating him. He's gonna be fun. I have a weird feeling that Project Hyrule Kart will actually take off. Maybe pack 3 or 4 because of him. Darunia Sandstorm. If someone can make Darude Sandstorm like Silva Gunner style with the Goron music, that would be the best. Rockstorm. Okay. We need to lean it forward. There we go. His arm's gonna not... It's gonna stretch, because I think if it locks, the game codes his hand to lock towards the handlebar. It'll stretch your part right here until it fits it, which may look... It'll work to me, so... We just need to have it where he's trying to navigate going backwards. I wonder if I should have any of his legs move. So if we rotate the SKL root bone, it does a lot of work here. I need to create frames for these really quick. Base frames, and then go to frame rate 7. It goes from right to left. So right, his knee over here would want to be out more. Already kind of is. You can't notice it with the shield anyway, but we overthink here over at Xeno Labs. Kind of want his elbow to be more relaxed, but there's nothing for him to lean on. He'd have to lean his spine back more. Ooh, kind of like that. So I wonder if we can slide this forward a little bit and keep his elbow relaxed. Oh, I'm rendering in cycles now all of a sudden. Shift you forward. Oh, his elbow's doing a thing again. No, that looks too funky. Funky Kong, including Funky Kong. Maybe I overcomplicated what I was trying to do here. And now I just fucked it up. There we go, it kind of looks better. We need more, maybe... more head movement going on in there. Like that. We want to move that to frame 15. His arm already barely hits there. I just realized when I was comparing Link from Mario Kart's model to Ocarina of Time Link. Ocarina of Time Link doesn't really have long arms. And it's almost to my detriment, because I think when I did kart animations for him, to keep his arms looking like they're relaxed, his legs have to unrealistically go past his, like, chest. And I'm not saying height-wise, I'm just meaning where it bends, because when you try and sit in a cart in real life, your knees still are kind of far away from your chest. They're like out here. His are like right here, where it's like way up there. And it works. It just, when you overthink about it, it just doesn't look right. Anyway, and bike back. I'll just call this one V1. V1 done. May want to iterate on it someday. And I think a lot of it too is because I'm trying to make Link squish into a medium cart and not a large cart. There's probably more factor there because he's replacing a medium character. And when I figured out how to get him to replace like the squid and stuff. And the way Mario Kart chooses Inkling Boy and Inkling Girl, he's taking over Inkling Boy, and Inkling Girl on the statistics chart is lighter. So I was gonna do Young Link for Inkling Girl. So when you select Link Oot Link on the HUD, it'll bring up Young Link, Adult Link with the 3 different tunics. It's gonna be so cool when that works. So Hyrule Kart Pack 2 is gonna have Zelda, which can turn into Sheik if she hops on the bike, Ganondorf, and then Oot Link, young and old. I think that's gonna be a pretty beefy little content pack. And then I might redo Hyrule Field to just not be the entire like castle too. It'll be a more streamlined, shorter track to go along with it. So whenever I have to re-rig Young Link, that's gonna be pretty nifty too. I just think the way the HUD works for that, it's so seamless, like it was meant to be. Oh, I liked it. I felt so clever when I was like, I could do that. So, excitement. Let's do M-Bike damage next. Wait 2. There we go. So now we need to copy that. We'll call it M-Bike damage. Save it. Get rid of redundant data. If I remember correctly, since we're doing it at 30 frames per second, this is only a 10 frame thing to do. The thing that sucks though is I'm getting ahead of myself because in Hyrule Kart Pack 1, yeah, I did the 3 characters, but I also had to retexture the carts to fit them and the HUD. Like in the if you noticed in the Mario Kart recording, I might be able to actually pull that up. It had like Inkling logos and stuff on the HUD, which see, like his hands are actually on the handlebars now because I fixed it. That's the test. Come on, hurry up, me! Just pick the freaking. There we go. So there, the squid logo comes up and it has all Mario Kart stuff. This I'm gonna have to figure out where this is and change it. So I already got the text working, but extra stuff like that, so the squid carts and all that, it's going to be a lot of work. The sounds, getting them to play their sounds is going to be a pain in the ass, because, like, I forget, Pack 1, I did that for all 3 of them. I didn't even do that for Ganondorf yet. Ganondorf, to me, just sounds funny, because he's using Bowser's voice lines, and it still kind of fits in a way. Zelda's mostly mute. She just has, like, sparkles and random sounds. And I think that she's mostly mute because having her sound like Sheik randomly versus Zelda would be weird. So she was somewhat simplistic to do. But yeah. Doing the sounds. I completely forgot how to do them because you have to compress them certain ways and certain file types at certain hertz or else the Switch explodes. So it's going to be fun to remember how to do that. I'm going to have to look at really old devlogs. We're gonna do this. Lean them back. We're on frame 5 already. Why am I doing that? Here, all frames. I don't want this song to play. I want to play a different song. I like Tetris. There we go. So now we gotta move his hands. Can I move both, please? Now he's stretching. It's been a long day. Gotta move his elbows. There we go. We're still on frame 5, aren't we? Oopsie poops in a doop scoops. Oopsie poops. There we go. It's loud and it's not, I mean, it's not over blaring, that's the word. Now we need to... I'm still on frame 5! Bruh. There. I'm just trying to make it where he wiggles his arm like he's getting damaged. Your roaster PHE is on... Oh! Oh, I'm guessing that's like their nickname. Yeah. Well, what's weird is I was watching some Zelda videos that showed the CDs they use to create all the sound effects and music in the game. Tetris, the new Tetris uses a lot of those same CDs, and you can hear it. Because if you, I don't remember if it was Majora's Mask or not. It was Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, but there's a chant in there that you hear from the pyramid level in Tetris. It's the exact same chant. And now I have to find it. Where the hell is... No, I don't want to click unknown artist. I want the album.
Bruh.
Where is it? The new Tetris. I think it's... No, it's the pyramid theme. So the dude singing in this one, you hear in one of those two N64 Zeldas. Yeah, this part. Because here it's at normal speed. They slow it down in one of the Zelda songs. And I think it might be the Fire Temple. The Fire Temple chant music might have that on there. But I was like, that's a weird way to link these two like video games together. In terms of like assets. Because here, he just sounds like a... Yeah. But it's here looping. Because apparently a lot of the game developers between the mid-90s and early 2000s used those same sample CDs. Because I can even hear a couple of the similar instruments or, what do you call them? Like those mysterious sounds that make it sound like weird and reverby, like you're in a cave. A lot of that was also used in like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. A lot of their music had the same vibe. And I was like, no way. It's weird learning the source material for all this stuff. But yeah, it's so gnarly to think that. Okay. Now we just need to... He needs to be mid-wiggle so he loops properly. Yeah, so rotate here. How did I have him get hurt last time? Heart damage. Yeah. Really, I always think of the bass guitar from that song. And what sucks is, we'd have to specifically look up the N64 version of it. Because I think Spider-Man on the PS1 had a completely different soundtrack. Spider-Man N64 OST. Because I wonder if we can get the combat music in there. I just want the combat music. Get to the bank. Cat was right! It's the Jade Syndicate! Hey! The comments up here. Looks like the Fantastic Four aren't around right now.
Yeah.
This is hitting me in a huge nostalgia wave right now. Ow, ow, ow. The bass? Oh, and the combat music? Hell yeah, that's my favorite. Especially the swamp music. I always think of the moles when I hear this one, but... It also never occurred to you that The Legend of Zelda is literally a culmination of someone wanting to mix Virtual Fighter-like games with JRPGs? Yeah! Like, literally, you take your turn doing a 2D style fight with Virtual Fighter, and then they do their turn, and it just turned it into an RPG. And it's so unique. Because I know the Legend of Dragoon got praised for its more interactive style. It's more interactive for an RPG. And then Legend of Legaia got praised for being a completely different style of input instead of just hitting attack or hitting magic. So that's like, that's why I love those two. Yeah, and the Arcade Fire aesthetic too. It really clicked to me one day when I was playing the Baka Fighter minigame. I'm just like, this is just literally like a fucking fighting game. But it's an RPG.
Yeah.
Now I'm back on the playlist, so now I just need to reload where I was last time. I will play... Frog Forest. There we go. Yeah, going back to what we were doing here. Oh, that's what I did. So I made his arms go up and down at opposite angles. Okay. So then you need to be slightly down, and we need to fix your... Oh no, it's moving both still. We need to move this. Stupid fighter. Is that what it's literally called? Like, translated? Oh, because it's basic. It's rock, paper, scissors. Basically. So it was like dumbed down. Baka Fighter. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what it meant. Because if we look at the logo, it's literally like word for word, B-A-K-A. Yeah, that's funny. And for like us Americans who didn't know what it meant, it was like, oh hey, I wonder what that means. A weird Japanese name. There we go. We need to move you down. Why is your elbow doing that? Why is your elbow doing that?
Bruh.
I might need to. There we go. Let's bring that back up and let me just look at damage. Cart damage. So he... Oh, he's not... His arms aren't so close to him. That's why it's not doing that. So we need to move you out a little bit. Like that. Gives your arms more room to wiggle up and down. There we go. There we go. And then a little bit up, and then move his hands so they have time to wiggle. I still remember looking up sometime earlier last year someone trying to remake Legaia on Unreal Engine, and the whole overworld exploration part they got down, I wouldn't say to a T, but they were using like the in-game fighting models as the running around models. It looked pretty cool. And then they were like, okay, so making the fight part of the game is really hard programming wise. Can I get help with that? Like, he wanted to recruit people. And I'm like, yeah, I can't. Thinking of how simplistic games are these days, making an RPG system like that probably is quite the undertaking to replicate. Like, you actually need some programming experience. And I was like, yeah, maybe it's a good thing I never really wanted to remake Legaia myself back then too, because I would get stuck there and then quit. Up and back. Like that. There we go. And then back down. Why is this like interpolated wrong? Oh, he's not wiggling. That's the other thing. We need to wiggle him. Now it looks like he's cheering like a like one of them fighter in the background of like one of those Punch-Out games where he's like 3 frames. That's probably why there weren't a lot of enemies in Legaia, because probably balancing everything around that was a lot harder. And they just wanted to do numbers. A demake? Maybe. I was just thinking of like natively porting it to PC. Because then you just port it to PC and then mod it to like up the graphical standards. Or what you could within its own engine. And then do the rest with like reshade or something. Now he's just dancing, because he wiggles this way so his arm doesn't come with him. Whoa! Oh, it's so linear. That's stop interpolating it that way. Bezier curve. Thank you. Okay. Frame 5, you move your arm down here like this. And then you're supposed to bring it back up. What are you doing?
Bruh.
And then we need your head to move like that. So. He's still not looping correctly because all the frames here aren't the same as the last one. That looks even funnier for some reason. How did we get back to freaking Glover music? I'll do this. No. He's just going up and down. We need this to go out more. Like he's actually flopping around. How did that look so bad compared to this one? How did I do that so well?
Bruh.
I'm really mad because this animation ain't even a month old and I already forgot how. I need more reference. Let's see. Driver. Link. Other link. It's so weird to think that they made this Skyward Sword Link, but he's left-handed.
Bruh.
Anyway, we want M-Bike damage. So he kind of hops in place while just flailing about. I wonder if we can try and up. How many times does he go up and down? So up, down by frame 10. So by like on the third or fourth frame, he's like up, up, down. It's fairly subtle here, but I'll take it. Up, down, up, down. How do we get the arm flailing? Like when you get sideswept by something while you're like, oh! There's a lot of neck movement in there too. Oh, it's like circular motions. Like this. I'm just doing this. He needs a circular motion. So... I think it's already looking better. Oh no, I hit hide, didn't I? Yep, okay. And then you go this way. You go that way, I'll go home. Now it just looks like he's beating his chest from the back. See, in order to do this file compression thing I'm doing, this is supposed to be 20 frames, and I'm shrinking it into 10 and then stretching it out. It just feels so wrong, because I have to round frames. He'll have the hurt animation for his face, too, so I don't know. I'll just call this one V1. See how it looks. Where's my document?
Bruh.
There it is. Okay, M-bike damage. Check mark. V1 done. And I wonder if we can... No, we can't copy the same files for that. Back to M-bike weight. You just need to copy the base frame rate, and then we'll call it M-bike choice. Bow. Bring up my OBS studio. Bike choice. If I remember correctly, we're not looking at the right model. Cart choice. 80 frames. Okay. Shing. I want to play Hyrule Field all of a sudden. There's a lot of Hyrule Fields. There we go. So now, if that's 80 frames, we have 40 to cram it into. So now we need to have him do the same thing, where he leans up. I'm going to have him hop. Hop, and then go back down. But he leans back. Leans back, leans up. And then he'll grab his sword. That's his knee. There we go. We need to move his elbow. That's his knee again. Like that. We moved his elbow. Okay. Oof. We need to slow down that he needs to do that. And then by frame 5, we need to find his weapon bone. Get it right there. Click on weapon, and then by frame 6, spawn it, and now he's impaled his own head.
Bruh.
No. Well, actually, now that we have it spawned, I can just align it with the sheath. A little tricky. Make sure it's not clipping anything that you can see. There we go. And then just replace these 2 frames with frame 5. Shing, shing. So he goes. But he has to keep leaning and then pull the sword out. So lean up. And we'll move the head later. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-da-dum. Near, 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 near. See, he doesn't want to keep his hand on the bike. We'll just have it where he relaxes it on like his knee or something. I wish I could have it where he takes out the shield too, but I don't have a bone for that.
Bruh.
But he needs to re-lean forward. By frame 25, we're going to re-lean forward, tilt his head up a little bit more, make it look like he's a little more excited to pull out the sword. Whoa, that's fast. Okay, maybe we should shrink like that. Well, he's taking it out too fast. That's the other issue. So we need to keep him doing that for a few frames. So it looks like he has to actually pull out the sword. Maybe change how he pulls it out. But he still needs to... Yeah, like that. Shing! Actually looks pretty good. He still, like, clips out of it, but again, we learned it's technically physically impossible to have it on your back, depending on the length of the sword. At least in Breath of the Wild's Master Sword. So it's got to cut off somewhere. Shing! And then he slightly leans forward over the course of those frames. Maybe I'm bending the wrong spine. That. You barely see the hop. Not bad. Link having a short sword is technically what makes the most sense in the 2D worlds. Yeah, because they look so tiny, and I always think of the show when he was in the first show. He could use it on his back if it were short. Yeah, and it'd only be like that long. Especially since it shot magic, at least before it was a Master Sword. No, Master Sword does shoot beams still. He just has to use it for close quarters combat. Maybe we have him lean down and then up again. So like by frame, whatever that is, and then... Whoa, no, that looks bad. What the hell was that? We just want to make it look like he's settling into his pose. It almost makes it look like he's nodding. Like... Near. Is he rotating later than he should? There we go. Well, maybe he needs to move his arm a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna exacerbate the hop a little bit. So it looks like he hops over there. I like that. Okay, so that one's done. I gotta move all my tabs over here. It's easier. Let's see. M-Bike choice. V1 done. M-Bike bad. He's bad. M-Bike bad has both of his hands free, so that nothing gets locked. Oh, okay. But I am going to be done streaming. With the technical issues and how long it says I've been streaming since I restarted the stream that OBS forced me to, I've done that for at least probably a little over 2 hours, because I started at 3:45, so it's 2 hours 35 something minutes. I think I'm gonna call it there. Give my eyes a break from the lights and figure out something else to do, because I'm also a little bit peckish now, so I need snacks and food. And I will continue streaming hopefully tomorrow, and I'll work on this offline. So thanks for stopping by, T. You made conversating while working on this a lot more fun. And it's always good to bounce brain ideas back and forth. By the way, one last thing I want to mention specifically to you is I was watching old Scum footage because I was trying to figure out how we made a base a long time ago. And when we were having fun making fun of Ted's voice, I didn't realize we were doing that. We sounded like stoners. We were making fun of Ted's voice and having fun with it for like an hour and a half straight somehow, and it was still funny because we kept trying to take Scum's like, I feel pain, I need to urinate, stuff like that, but we were using the Ted voice with that. It made it so funny. I ended up just watching that for like 2 hours and not realizing I ate so much time because it was so fucking funny. I was like, we were stupid dorks for doing that. God, I'm feeling like paid COD like that. COD, there's no rounds on this. This is the wrong caliber COD. It was funny. But I just wanted to tell you that because I was watching it. It was funny. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Zeno is out of here. Have a good day and don't trip on a rock.
Yeah.
Christian says so too. Bye.